Hello, I'm Brian Tracy, and today I want to tell you how and why to design your life by ideals. You can live a life with nothing stopping you from achieving everything you deserve and nothing holding you back. There are many ways to live your life. You could live your life by design, or you could live your life by accident, which unfortunately is what most people do. And often that choice is completely up to you. If you're interested in experiencing your ideal lifestyle by design, I'm about to share with you a powerful mental tool that you can use to do just that. It's called idealization. With idealization, you imagine that you could create a perfect life in any way imaginable, a life without limitation where you could be or have anything that you wanted. You can live a life with nothing stopping you from achieving everything you deserve and nothing holding you back. Designed by you and for you. Sounds pretty amazing, right? Well, the easiest way to get in the right frame of mind for effective idealization is to use the magic wand method. Imagine that you have a magic wand and that you could wave it over every aspect of your life and instantly make that aspect perfect in every way. All you have to do is wave that magic wand over these 4 most important areas of your life: work, family, health, and finances. So let's start with work. Close your eyes and picture your ideal work life. As you wave your magic wand over your ideal work life, start to identify areas that you'd like to improve, the ones holding you back from achieving your big goals. Think of opportunities at work where you can start to make things perfect, or as perfect as they could possibly be for you. Start with your business and your career and your income. What would these look like if they were perfect in every way? What type of work would you be doing? How many hours would you be spending doing this work? Who would you be working with most of the time? How much would you be earning if you were doing exactly the right work and being paid exactly the amount of money that you want? Remember, the magic wand lets you think beyond limits, so think big, as though you had no limits at all. Stretch your imagination and experience your ideal life without constraints. Feel your success as you design every aspect of the life that you deserve. Doesn't it feel incredible? Now that your imagination is warmed up, wave your magic wand over your family life. What would your ideal family life look like? Really, let your subconscious be free to design your perfect future. Where would you live? What would your home look like? Where would you go on vacation? Would it be adventurous or relaxing? How many children would you have? And would you have any pets? What would your relationship look like? Really let the magic wand fill in the details and put yourself in that vision of your future family life, envisioning yourself there surrounded by your loved ones, as though everything was perfect in every way. Now that you have a clear picture of your work and family life, it's time for you to design your health and fitness. What would your idealized health and fitness levels look like to you? What would you be able to do or do more of? Would you get back to playing golf or tennis, or spend more time relaxing with your family, or reading, taking notes? Now imagine your meals, your food. What would you be eating and nourishing yourself with? What would you eat more of or less of? What ailments and health challenges would you be able to avoid, giving you the vitality and energy to experience all that your enriched life has to offer? And finally, wave your magic wand to design your ideal financial future. How much money would you have if your financial life was perfect in every way? How How much would you have in the bank? How much would you be earning on a regular basis? How much would it be increasing over time? Be very specific. And one critical thing is think on paper. Write it down, write it down, write it down. How would you achieve this wealth if you had no limits? Picture your bank account balance, your income and your savings, your investments for retirement. See them growing bigger and bigger. See the money that you have available to enjoy nice meals out and along with the finer things in life without worry. Feel the stress evaporate from your body as you no longer worry about finances or debt, as you envision yourself securing your and your family's financial future. Now that you've used your magic wand to design those ideals and craft your perfect life, it's time for you to take action and begin moving toward them so that they begin moving toward you. Often, when you look at these big goals, they can be overwhelming. And while thinking and dreaming about your goals is fun, it's not enough to actually make them happen. To make them a reality, you need to set up a clear path to give your subconscious mind a target to reach for while taking concrete daily actions toward realizing them. Start by taking the lofty goals that you've set for yourself in each of these 4 areas and reverse engineer them. Work backward from the goal and break each one down into smaller achievable steps with specific timelines. These are called SMART goals. Using SMART goals will set up your subconscious mind to actually realize your idealized life one goal at a time. And if you're looking for a clear, simple path to your ideal life, check out my SMART Goals template to help you live your life by design. Now, I'd love to hear from you, so my questions for today are, when was the last time you really thought about your life by design? When did you last write it all out and plan each step, imagining each part of your future? And if you haven't done that, why not? Remember, whatever you write down clearly starts to become your reality. Leave a comment below, and I'll be sure to follow up with you. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you want to change your future, take action, and take action now. If you enjoyed this video and feel it was valuable in teaching you how and why to design your life by ideals, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share this video with your friends. Don't forget to click the button on the screen for a free gift. Thanks again for watching.
Hello, I'm Brian Tracy, and today I want to give you some tips on how to save money in the year ahead. $1,250 next year by passing up that morning $5 latte. You could kickstart your day instead with a strong jolt of your own home brew. And while we're on the subject, what are you spending each month on cable satellite TV? Multiply that figure by 12 and subtract the cost of a TV broadcast aerial, and you could add another $1,000 to $1,200 to your savings kitty. Giving up fancy coffee and overpriced cable TV are but 2 examples of low-sacrifice measures to save money. They're part of a stunningly simple strategy that anyone can adopt, and you only need to do 2 things. Maybe you don't think you can live on less than you earn, but you can. It requires an honest needs assessment. Ask yourself, are you paying more than 28% of your monthly income on lodging, house payments, apartment rent, and so on? The 28% is the benchmark that most lenders use in calculating your debt-to-income ratio. If so, you are living beyond your means and need to make a move. Then there's that income-sucking credit card. Are you reaching for it to pay for items you once bought with cash? Take a look at last month's statement. Notice how all of those little charges add up to one big bill. You can, no doubt, come up with other examples, but the important thing here is to find ways to live below your means so that you can start saving that extra money. Here are some tips for living below your means. First, know what demands you are placing on your income. Make a list of everything and make everything on that list a candidate for economizing. Second, set a realistic monthly savings goal. Multiply it by 12, and that's what you'll have saved by this time next year. What is your next move? Are you going for debt paydown, a family vacation, or maybe just a cushion in case of an emergency? Decide and you'll know whether you can live on the leftover income. Third, pay down your debt. Living debt-free is the clearest path towards living below your means and saving your money. Consider consolidating and paying off your credit card debt. Find a sharp pair of scissors and cut up the credit and bank cards you need to pay down. Next, make a budget and stick to it. If you have followed up the advice above, you're already more than halfway to a budget. You cannot get a handle on what you can save until you know everything about what you earn, what your recurring expenses are, and where all that other money is going. You need a budget. With that said, here are the 7 suggestions on preparing a budget. First, decide on how you want to track your budget. You can use anything from a spiral notebook to financial software, or look for free spreadsheet budget templates online. Second, record all your income and be conservative on your projections. Include your gross income, bonuses, interest income, tax rebates, and all other sources. Third, determine your expenses. You'll spend more time on this, but know that expenses are the most controllable elements of your budget. Budget your expenses into categories of fixed and discretionary. Fixed means that, like rent and car payments, you can't avoid them. Discretionary are things that you can put off or delay to a later time or to no time at all. Fourth, compare your income with the expenses. Most Americans spend about 70% of their income on fixed expenses like lodging, rent, utilities, transportation, food, etc. The remaining 30% provides scant wiggle room unless you can find a way to cut down on the fixed expenses. The best rule of thumb is to budget total expenses at about 90% of your income. Fifth, improve your situation by focusing on the expense side of your budget. If you want to live below your means, you must be honest about what are necessities, fixed, and what are luxuries, discretionary. Cut down on the latter and try to reduce the former. Sixth, focus on your goals. By now you should have a good snapshot of your financial health and how much you can save and still live below your income. Include the big ticket items like your child's education, a new home, and your retirement years. And seventh, revisit your budget and keep close track of your progress. Are you on target to achieve your monthly savings goals? A monthly review, preferably around the 10th, will allow you to check whether your spending estimates were accurate or unrealistic. If unrealistic, you need to adjust them for the coming month. Saving your money is about setting your goals and priorities. You do that by choosing what you are saving for, setting a budget, and recording your expenses. You can live below your means and save for your future. Make the commitment and do the work. This time next year, you'll be well on your way to reaching all your financial goals. Before we wrap up, I'd like to leave you with a thought to share it with your friends and followers. You can have more, be more, and do more because you can change the person you are. Now, I'd love to hear from you, so my question today is this. What is one thing that you can do to save money starting immediately? Leave a comment below and I'll be sure to follow up with you. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you want to change your future, take action and take action now. If you enjoyed this video and feel it was valuable in teaching you about how to save money, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share this video with your friends. Don't forget to click the button on the screen for a free gift. Thanks again for watching. Hello, I'm Brian Tracy, and I have a question for you. Do you have too much to do in too little time? Are you overwhelmed? Are you swamped with work? Do you find yourself feeling like you're on a treadmill and sometimes you're doing more and more things that are less and less value to you? Well, my daughter Christina and I have written a book called Find Your Balance Point. And what this does is it takes the very best thinking of thousands of people over the years to help people find exactly where they should be in life so that they feel happy and fulfilled and full of energy and they love their work and they love their coworkers, and they feel that they are becoming everything they're capable of becoming. And in the next few minutes, Christine and I are going to talk about some of these points and how they can help you to improve every part of your life. Please let me welcome Christina. How are you, my dear?
I'm good, thanks, Dad. So yes, so this book came about because we were talking about balance and how balance is something that I think everybody wants to feel in their lives. Everybody is striving to feel balance, and it occurred to us in this sort of process about the idea of sort of a true balance versus a false balance, and the idea that people tend to strive for false balance because they don't necessarily know what would provide them with true balance. And so thus came the concept of the balance point, and this idea that if each individual has a unique point that is where they experience their true balance, and that is where they feel the most grounded, the most clarity, the most confidence, the greatest ability to sort of move through their day feeling connected to what they're spending their time on, that we would create these steps to help people identify their balance point and then how to live in accordance with that balance point.
In achieving balance, it's absolutely essential that a person be clear about their values. One of the things that we say is that your inner life and your outer life have to be in harmony. And psychologists call this congruence, because everything that you do and say on the outside is consistent with what you really believe is important and true on the inside. And sometimes I used to use the example of a car driving down the road and shaking, and it's because the wheels are out of balance. And what you have to do is balance the wheels so they're perfectly balanced, and then the car drives smoothly. And that's what people want to achieve in their life. And when they get their inner life in harmony with their outer life, then everything becomes smooth for them. And you talk a lot about that.
Yes, actually. It's interesting because the idea of self-esteem, which sort of drives our confidence and our feeling of being grounded and knowing that we're investing our time in the right places, happens when you think of what you should be doing or what your ideal situation is, and then you look at what you are doing, and depending on, if you were to look at these two circles, how much the circles overlap determines how great your self-esteem really is. So ideally, when we're talking about balance, we're also talking about being fully authentic and fully present in your life. And
Yes.
So determining your values and what's important to you on the inside really is the starting point to determine what your actions should be on the outside, how you should really invest your time and energy. Because ultimately, when we invest our time and energy in the things that matter to us, where we feel connected or we feel energized by our actions, that is when we feel truly balanced. And it's when we feel that we're investing time and energy in things that don't matter, or maybe distractions from things that do matter, we tend to feel guilty that we're wasting our time, or we feel unproductive. And so it is really important to first identify those values and who you are on the inside, what motivates you.
Yes. You know, there's this great book on tidying up now, and it says, take everything in your life and ask, does this spark joy in me?
Totally.
And if it doesn't spark joy, then remove it from your life. Well, so that's what we're talking about here. And you can tell if you're living in harmony with your values because they spark joy. Now, what we found is that everything is from the inside to the outside. So the first word in values is clarity. You have to be absolutely clear about your values in the different parts of life.
Absolutely. Talking about clarity of your values, I work with a lot of women who are mothers, and one of the problems that, as I am myself, I'm a mother, one of the things that we really deal with is this idea of feeling guilty all the time with how we're spending our time. And so, when you are clear about what you value and you are spending your time in things that matter, so for a lot of women who are deciding how to, allocate their time, whether it's in their personal lives or their professional lives, being clear about these values and knowing that it is important for me to have a career and to pursue my professional ambitions versus, I also want to pick my kids up from school or be at this event or whatever it is. There's so much less guilt when you're making a conscious choice as to how to allocate your time versus being passive and going through the motions. So clarity really is significant in getting to that place.
Yeah, I remember when I married Barbara and we had you, and then our second child, Michael. And it was very time consuming and overwhelming, and I had an opportunity for a huge job on the other side of the country, and I was leaving for the airport to go for an interview. And I got to the back door, and I had my suitcase and my briefcase, and Barbara came up to me, and she was really upset. She was tired. She said, "Please don't go."
Yep.
And I said, "Okay." I put down my briefcase and my suitcase, and I never went, and I never got that job. And who knows what if it would have happened in my life. But the reason I did that is because when I got married, I made it clear that my family was more important than anything else. So if it was a choice between this and this, it's a very easy decision to make.
Right. And it's really important to make that initial decision about what's important to you.
Yes.
You know, we'll talk later about sort of time management, but one of the things that I've also, you know, come encounter with is people who find their social lives to be very important, their friendships to be really important, and yet somehow when we talk about how they're allocating their time, there is this idea that maybe spending time with their friends is not a priority, but it's one of the things that's most important to them, and it's so therefore it is a priority, which goes back to this idea that we all sort of have a unique balance point.
Yes.
Nobody has the same balance point, because nobody, I mean, we can be very similar, but we all care about things a little bit differently. And so honoring the differences and saying, you know, like, I'm going to do it this way. Some people may want to, you know, work full time and not have a family. Some people want to have a family full time and not work, and that's great. Everybody has their own way of doing it. And so if we can support each other and we can, you know, kind of guide everybody or just supplement and, you know, work around this so that we're pursuing our own goals and respecting each other's goals, that is how we achieve this balance point in all of our lives.
Yeah, and I remember you just mentioned about time management. One of the things that people say, well, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough time. Well, you know, I've worked on time management for years, and you and I have worked together, and what we find is that most people waste most of their time at work in idle chit-chat with coworkers, with social media, with long lunches and coffee breaks, with playing and responding to email, is they don't realize it's called invisible time wastage. And if you ask a person, do you waste time at work? They'll say, absolutely not. I'm busy all day long. I'm exhausted. I don't have time for exercising. I don't have time for my health. I don't have time for my family, and so on.
Right.
And they say, well, let us take a movie and just follow you around for a day and just look at how you use your time. And then play the movie back, and each person is astonished at how much time they spend doing things that have nothing to do with the work. Now here's the problem, is the work continues to accumulate. It doesn't go away.
Right.
It just keeps growing and growing. And it's this overhang of work that causes so much stress.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's a great activity, a video, or writing down a list for what you did for the last day, and just seeing how many things you do to spend your time that are really not something that means something to you, you know, like just getting distracted by things or talking to people or running errands that are unnecessary, or, you know, at work, like you're saying, with social media and things like that are distracting. That's what makes you feel out of balance, because those are the activities that don't bring meaning to your life. They don't help you achieve anything. They distract you and they suck your energy and they make you feel
Yes.
like you are. It's almost like if you have a limited amount of time and you're wasting time, then suddenly you have less time to do all the things that are very important, and that becomes very stressful, and that's
Right.
where we feel out of balance.
You know, there's an old saying that before you do something, you have to do something else first. So the starting point in life is you've got to take some time to be clear about your values with regard to your work, your values with regard to your career, and your values with regard to the people in your life.
Absolutely.
And lack of clarity leads to fuzziness and an inability to make a decision between doing this or doing that.
Absolutely. I mean, I like our conversation that we had kind of in putting this book together about sort of creating a map, you know, and how like a bullseye, and how when you know which direction you're moving, you feel much more confident moving towards something that you
Yes.
are clear about. Whereas if you don't have a destination, you end up driving in circles, or not knowing where you're going, and then your energy and your efforts don't feel like they have purpose. And so really having that clarity as to what your ideal vision is or what you want for your life is sort of that target you're aiming at, and that's, or the map you're creating to get there.
Yeah.
So the clarity is absolutely essential.
You know, one of the things we talk about is, imagine you could wave a magic wand and make your life perfect sometime in the future. What would it look like if your life was perfect in terms of your family, your income, your health, your financial situation? And how would it be different from today? And what could you start doing today to begin creating that perfect future?
Absolutely. And that's actually a very fun activity, and you can do that for your day even, just having this ideal vision. It's like a to-do list. It's a plan. And so, and that's really such an important element to feeling balanced, to knowing what you're working towards, to choosing the path, to having this ideal vision of your future without any sort of restrictions, because, obviously things come and we have to kind of navigate them, but to start out with the fantasy is such a fun place to kind of begin on that journey.
What is your vision of your perfect future, and how would it be different from today? And what could you do immediately to begin creating that perfect future?
Yes, and that actually brings us kind of to the idea of goals and goal setting, and how having clarity on that picture gives you the picture, and then suddenly it's, well, how do I get there? So what are the goals and what are the steps to get to that ideal picture? And and goals in all different categories of life, just the same way you imagine your ideal financial life, your ideal family life, you create goals in terms of what you want in each of those categories, and then you work towards those goals. And again, I think that one of the main themes in here that's really important to emphasize is this idea that balance is a result of working towards something that matters to you, that every part of it holds meaning. And so when you think about your day, or when you're in your moment and you're fully engaged by the activity that you are consciously choosing to do, it holds meaning to you. It makes you feel happy. You feel connected to yourself, you feel connected to your friends, to your partner, to your family, and that's where you're balanced. And at the same time, simultaneously, you're working towards a goal to achieving this perfect picture. Yeah. So it all sort of falls in place.
People always ask me, what is the key to success? What is the one key? What's the magic key? And I've always said this after being irritated for years about the answer. The answer is very simple, is find something that you love to do, and then put your whole heart into doing it well. Absolutely.
Whatever it is. Yeah. And in every category, maybe. You love something physically, you love something with your family, something with work. Some people, we talk about the idea of like living to work and working to live, and how everybody's different and everybody's going to have something that's really inspiring to them, and that it might not be their job. It might be in writing a book or doing art after work, or or it could be a job that is so fulfilling that you're just passionate about sharing and growing and moving in some direction, like you. So it's really great and exciting how different everybody is, and how easy it is for each individual to really achieve balance in their lives when they stop thinking about their balance in relation to someone else's balance. That their balance point is unique to them just as someone else's is unique to them, and that really with the clarity and with these visions and having goals, that we can kind of create our own picture and be working towards that goal simultaneously with other people, where we're supporting each other and kind of honoring the fact that we're different, and that it doesn't necessarily have to be the same for everyone. But the ideal is that we do feel grounded, that we do feel confident, that we feel connected to what we're doing, that we have limited amount of time, and that we spend that time with things that matter to us, that every moment holds meaning, because otherwise we're wasting it, and that's where we feel off kilter and overwhelmed. And so it's all about seeking that meaning and connection to get to balance.
So if your values on the inside and your goals on the outside are in harmony, then you feel this congruency, this alignment. You find your balance point.
Absolutely.
And one of the ways that you can always tell, Aristotle said the ultimate aim of human life is to be happy. And one of the ways that you can measure where you are is how happy are you, and how much of the time are you happy?
Yeah.
And taking the time to be really clear about who you are and what you want is really the key to happiness. And then they say that happiness is the progressive, step-by-step movement towards something that's really important to you. Mm-hmm. And if you do not know clearly what you want, and you don't have a plan to get there, which is what we teach in Balance Point, then as you say, your life will go around in circles.
Yeah.
It's interesting. We've made the book very short so that you can get right into it, follow the exercises and questions, and come out the other end, probably in one reading. They say that every minute spent in planning saves 10 minutes in execution. That means people say, I don't have time. Yes, but the fact is, if you sit down and read this through and be clear about your values in each area, and then clear about the goals that you want to achieve, and then make plans to achieve them and start working on them, you'll save yourself 9 minutes for every minute that you take just deciding where you want to go.
Oh, absolutely. And just, I mean, everybody resonates with different things, and there are so many great concepts in this book that just coming into contact with one of them and being like, oh, I finally get this, like whether it's some of the time management techniques we talk about, or the goal setting, or around values and clarifying your values. I mean, so I have worked with so many people at this point where we sit down to do a values clarification exercise, and people haven't ever, it's such a hard thing to sort of conceptualize. But it's amazing when you really do consider those things. And so just one element from this book could trigger a complete shift in your life. And you just, in writing this book, I feel like we've had so many conversations about these concepts, and it really is amazing to share this stuff and see how it changes people and how much more grounded people feel when they can integrate this stuff into their lives. Just even becoming aware of it is huge. So It's a lot of fun.
I think all the great truths in life are simple, as we explained, but one of the great questions is it working for you? Does it make you happy? Does it spark joy?
Does it spark joy?
And
Yeah.
Each adult, I learned this as a young man, each adult is responsible for organizing their life so that it makes them happy. The wonderful line I learned when I was in my 20s was that this is real life and no one is coming to the rescue.
Yeah. No one is holding your hand.
Nobody's holding your hand. This is it.
Yeah.
This is, someone else said, this life is not a rehearsal for something else. And that's an incredible thought, because most people think, well, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing now, and then at a certain point, my real life will begin. No, this is it. The play is on. The audience is there.
Yes, yes. No, and you don't want to regret not spending any of that time on special things.
Yeah. Jimmy Kimmel had this great line. It's just, how are you showing up? How are you showing up every day? Are you happy? Are you prepared? Does your work energize you? Do your relationships make you happy? And if it's not working, then there's only one person in the world who can make the changes to make it work.
Right.
And what this book does is it shows you step by step how you can go through your life and come out the other end with a complete plan, so that you live your life in complete harmony and congruence with the best person inside of you and the best world around you.
Absolutely. And it's also so easy to know when you are falling off track, because there are so many ways to just identify it, that you can achieve this balance point and you can maintain it. And that despite what happens and things that change, we're so fortunate that we are given cues, from our world or our bodies or whatever it is, to know when we're actually not in balance and when we need to come back to balance. And so it's a really awesome tool.
Nature is wonderful for us, because if we have a physical problem of any kind, nature tells us that something is wrong by giving us pain or discomfort.
Yeah.
But if we have an emotional problem in our lives, something is out of balance, nature also tells us by giving us unhappiness, stress, dissatisfaction.
Yes.
Now, we listen to our bodies. If we feel unhealthy, we go and find out what's wrong. We go to a doctor. Well, all the person has to do is listen to their heart, listen to their intuition. And if they don't feel happy, if their life does not spark joy, what it means is they need to find their balance point.
Something is out of alignment.
Right back to their center, to their very best self,
Yes.
and start again.
Absolutely. If you want to learn to clarify your values, set your goals, and determine your priorities, then pick up a copy of our new book, Find Your Balance Point, by me, Christina Stein, and Brian Tracy. And I promise this book will teach you some incredible things to help you feel grounded and balanced, and confirm to you that you are making the most meaning in your life every day. So pick up a copy and you'll find out for yourself. Thanks.
Hello, I'm Brian Tracy. A lot of people are out of work today, and if you're not out of work, you probably will be sooner or later. And your ability to get the right job at the right wage, doing the right thing with the right people in the right company, is one of the most important skills you develop as a life skill. And in this time that we spend together, I'm going to teach you some great ideas that I have taught to thousands of people who were job seekers or job changers, and it revolutionizes their life and their business future. So to earn what you're really worth, you have to be in the right job in the first place. By the way, most people should be earning much more than they're earning today, but they're doing the wrong thing in the wrong way at the wrong place, and they need to make a change. Sometimes you could earn more just by walking across the street and getting a new job if your special talents and skills could be used to get more valuable results for a different employer. Remember, everything in life is results. Now, this is a challenging time in human history to be out in the job market and working to survive and thrive. And by the way, it's not going to get much better in the years to come. The economy has changed forever. However, in spite of problems in the economy, there are countless opportunities and possibilities for talented people like you to find or create great jobs and earn more than they ever have before. And you should be one of them. Now, the first key is to do your homework. When you're looking for the job you want, you engage in the same activities that a sales professional would. The 3 activities essential to sales success are prospecting, presenting, and following up. Your job is to prospect thoroughly and develop the greatest number of leads or potential jobs that you possibly can. Then you meet with and make presentations to as many prospective employers as possible. And third, you follow up with the very best opportunities until you get the job you want. One of the most important keys to success in selling today is what is called pre-call research. Do your homework. Find out everything that you possibly can about the individual, the organization, and the industry before you call on anyone for the first time. I've been amazed. We will advertise online, Craigslist or Monster.com or one of the other resources to find people for jobs in our company. And people will actually call up and they'll send in their resumes and we'll phone them. And we'll say, did you read our website? Do you know anything about our business? And there's silence on the other end. They say, well, no, I didn't. I forgot. I sort of meant to. And we say, thank you so much for calling, and hang up. A person who hasn't done some pre-call research before they call you for a job is a person who you know from the beginning would be a totally useless human being. These people are too lazy to even click on a mouse to find out what you do. Fortunately, the good news is that with the internet, you can do more and better research in a few minutes than has ever before been possible in human history. And you cannot imagine how impressive it is when a job candidate calls on a person with a file full of information on that individual and his or her organization and industry. It gives you a critical edge when the employer makes the final decision. This critical edge can open a door for you that can change the entire direction of your life. Now let's talk about internet job search. Getting a job on the internet is not easy. By the way, nothing worthwhile in life is easy. But getting a job on the internet is a skill that you must learn through practice. You start by visiting the main internet job sites like Career Builder that you see advertised all around you. If you don't know where to start, go to a search engine such as Craigslist or AOL and Bing, and even Google, of course, and go to the employment section. Examine the various job categories, and then read the job description for positions that are being offered. Get as much information as you possibly can about the various job sites. Some internet job sites specialize in one kind of employee, and some specialize in another. Some are local, and some are national. When you list on an internet job site, your resume and your information become instantly available to potential employers nationwide. There are many opportunities for you to post a brief description of your abilities and the job you're looking for at no charge. Some sites will charge you a placement fee, but these are usually worth it because they are much more aggressive in tracking potential employers to the site. Remember, You always get what you pay for in life. And if you pay nothing, don't expect to get anything of value. There are also job career fairs held in every community every year and sometimes every month. These are advertised in the newspaper and on the radio. You should visit these job fairs and talk to the various employers exhibiting there. Find out what they're looking for today and what they will be looking for in the future. Even if you're currently employed, keep sowing seeds everywhere you go so that you can create a rich harvest of employment opportunities for the future. The more seeds you sow, the more likely it is that you're going to get the job you really want. When you do your research, look for the names of decision makers. Look for the names of key people in various companies and departments of companies. Especially look for the names of those who have been recently promoted. Sometimes these appear in the newspapers, in the business section, or even in the business journals that are available in most cities. People who have been recently promoted often make immediate staff changes and create job opportunities for people who just call. So whenever you see somebody who's been promoted, call them up and say, look, I want to congratulate you on your new position. As it happens, I'm looking for a job in that area, and I wondered if it would be worthwhile for us to talk. You'll be amazed at how many people's careers change with that little action. Look for active, growing organizations and companies in your community that are announcing a new expansion or announcing increased profitability. They're opening a new branch or a new office, or their profits last year went up dramatically. These companies are always looking for more good people. Here's a rule that every business owner knows. The key to your growth is to hire good people. The more good people you can hire, the faster you can grow and the more profits you can make. It's a basic economic principle. These companies that are growing offer lots of opportunities, and they will pay well for the right skills, especially if you're the one who has them. Another way to find a job is look for new product releases and the introductions of new services by companies, local and national. Whenever a company is expanding its products or services, there are job opportunities to sell the product, distribute the product, service the product, install the product, and handle the administration and details associated with the product. Remember, the limiting factor in the growth of a business is finding good people to help the business grow. And if you're a good person, then your job is to find people that you can help. Whenever you see a company that is expanding and an executive who has been promoted, phone the company immediately and tell the person you talk to that you're looking for a job in that industry and this company is of interest to you. Ask the receptionist for the name of the person you should speak to. Arrange to go in and see the person and interview for a job. It's absolutely amazing how many great job opportunities you can uncover by simply taking action on the news and information all around you about the businesses and industries that you want to work in. When you go out to get a job, you must sell yourself professionally. The job interview is really a sales call. You are in sales when you're looking for a job. You're going out to sell yourself to someone else, and you're going to charge a lot of money for your product. The type of job you get and the type of salary you command will be a measure of how well you have sold yourself at this critical point in your career. Now, many people don't like the idea of selling. They don't like to see themselves as salespeople. Unfortunately, this is the type of attitude that leads to underachievement in life, because it leads to being passive rather than active. It leads to feeling inferior rather than feeling powerful. It leads to accepting what other people offer rather than asking for what you want. The fact is that everyone who wants to sell his or her ideas or services to others is a salesperson. The only question is whether or not you're any good at it. Use these ideas to get into the workplace and get the job you really want.
Fear of failure is the greatest single obstacle to success in adult life. But here's the kicker. It's not failure that holds you back. It's the fear of failure. It's the anticipation of failure. Because if you look at your life, you realize that you've failed hundreds of times, more times than you can count. Everyone has experienced failure from time to time. but resolving to be too careful can hold you back and sabotage your efforts to achieve your goals. So here's a question. Are you letting the fear of failure scare you into being overly cautious? Well, don't do it. Instead, overcome your fear of failure by taking the time to identify, define, and analyze your fears. At the top of a clean sheet of paper, write the question, what am I afraid of? Then, make a list of your fears and select the one that you feel holds you back the most. With your biggest fear in mind, write the answers to these 3 questions. Number 1, how does this fear hold me back in life? Number 2, how does it help me, or how has it helped me in the past? And, this is the key, number 3, what would be your payoff for eliminating this fear altogether? When you can identify the fears that hold you back, instead of backing away from them, move toward them. Instead of avoiding them, confront them. Eventually, you'll reach the point where those fears no longer play a major role in your decision making. And the wonderful thing is, if you do the thing you fear, the courage comes afterwards. Then you can set big, challenging, exciting goals and be confident that you can attain them. You can become unstoppable.
How to improve your presentation skills. Structure your presentation so that you appeal to different interests of the different decision makers involved. Brian Tracy. In today's professional world, presentation skills are critical for success. The ability to present information, whether it's to colleagues, vendors, or prospects, is a key component of communication and can go a long way in securing your best professional future. A well-delivered presentation not only shares key information in an enjoyable way, but also engages and immerses the audience in the material. By following the next 6 steps, you'll be in a position to successfully deliver a stellar presentation that will wow your audience and get the results you are seeking. Understand the purpose of the presentation. The first step to improve your presentation skills is to take a step back and understand why you are giving the presentation in the first place. You want to know the purpose of the presentation. This will make sure that your audience will get the required content and material. Because this is the first and one of the most important steps, take your time here to get it right. By doing this, you'll ensure the rest of the presentation flows smoothly and follows a path from start to finish, with a specific purpose, linking your whole presentation from start to finish. Prepare for your presentation. Once you know the key purpose of your presentation, the next step is to prepare your presentation. This is also a very important part of how to improve your presentation skills. To prepare for your presentation, do ample research on the topic. Look up the appropriate facts and figures that are relevant to the subject matter and present these in an engaging, entertaining way. Make sure you do your research from trusted sources and verify to make sure that all the information is accurate. Proper preparation will help you to deliver a powerful, polished presentation that flows smoothly and resonates with your audience. Use visual aids to support your presentation. Once you've outlined and prepared your presentation, it is time to add visual aids. Go through your presentation and, where appropriate, add visual aids to engage your audience. Make sure these are concise and visually appealing and support the flow of the presentation. The idea is not just to have a pretty presentation, but one that is useful. These can be charts, graphs, photos, drawings, or illustrations that will help break up blocks of text while also helping to explain big ideas with visual imagery. Practice your presentation. Once you've prepared your presentation, practice, practice, practice. By practicing your presentation, you will get comfortable with sharing the information out loud in front of an audience. It is not good enough to read the material to yourself. You must say it out loud over and over again. If you can, practice in front of someone and ask for feedback. Did you say the words clearly and enunciate each one? Did you speak too fast? Did you speak too slowly? The cadence of your speech and your intonation can have a major influence on how well received your presentation is. By practicing your presentation out loud, you'll be prepared to deliver an engaging talk without stumbling through your words or ideas. Dress appropriately for your presentation. Now that you have polished your actual presentation, it's time to polish your look. Dressing well will give you confidence and lend credibility to your presentation. Make sure that you wear the appropriate attire for the type of presentation and the members of the audience. This includes wearing clean, pressed clothing and good shoes that match your outfit. Remember, by being the one giving the presentation, you're aiming to have an air of authority, so dressing the part goes a long way in helping with that. By dressing appropriately for the part, along with the quality of the material you'll be presenting, you'll be able to position yourself as the expert. Engage your audience. Now that you've researched, prepared, practiced, and polished your presentation, it's time to put the final touches on it. This is where you will make sure to engage your audience so that they pay attention to your presentation. This includes being aware of your body language and positioning, opening your body up rather than having closed positions. Avoid crossing your arms or slouching or moving too much from place to place. Speak loudly and clearly, making sure to project your voice with confidence. Have the audience participate by asking questions to show they're paying attention and are involved in the presentation. By following these discussed steps, you'll improve your presentations and wow your audiences. Start by understanding the purpose of your presentation. Once you have this, prepare your presentation by doing the required research and fact-checking, followed by making your presentation more visually appealing. Once your presentation has been put together, you'll need to practice it over and over. Do not skip this step. When you're presenting, make sure you have dressed appropriately for the subject matter and the audience to demonstrate confidence and authority. Finally, when presenting, engage the audience by using your body language in an open way, speaking clearly and confidently, and also making sure to ask them questions. By following these steps, you will have improved your presentation skills. Now, the question today is this: what specific steps from those discussed will you take today to prepare for your next presentation? Leave a comment below and Brian will be sure to follow up with you. Thanks for watching, and remember, as Brian always says, if you want to change your future, take action and take action now.
If you enjoyed this video and feel it was valuable, share it with your friends, or for more resources on professional development, visit my website at briantracy.com. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you want to change your future, take action, and take action now.
On finding your purpose by telling you a true story. One day, I received an inspiring letter from an ambitious 14-year-old girl from Switzerland. Nyzak grew up middle class and decided to pursue gymnastics as a child, but did not pass the test required to study at the gymnasium. At 11, she met a wealthy daughter of an independent businessman from Kyrgyzstan who had her nose buried in books about business and entrepreneurship. From then on, Nyzak's new goal was to do an apprenticeship as a businesswoman. She soon found herself also buried in business and entrepreneur books, including a few of mine. With diligence and determination, she managed to work her way to an apprenticeship at a major financial consulting company, as well as a trip to San Diego with her class. A month before her trip to San Diego, I opened a heartfelt letter from her where she told me her story and how she found my book, No Excuses, at the right time, and that she would love to meet with me when she came to San Diego. 3 weeks later, I had the honor of meeting with Nazik. It was so wonderful to see such a bright young individual taking action toward her future and taking charge of her goals. Well, she asked me a series of questions, and my answers are always the same, is be very clear about your goals at each stage of your life and write them down and make plans to achieve them. The advice I gave her is to continually learn and grow and become better in her chosen field. Every day should be a learning day. And we also talked about her future plans. And what you do there is you project forward 3 to 5 years and ask, if your life was perfect in 3 to 5 years, what would it look like? And how would it be different from today? And especially, what step would you take immediately? What action would you take at this moment to create your perfect future? So you should take after Nazik and invest in your continuous growth to blossom into the person you want to be. Some of the most important questions that you can ever ask yourself on your journey through life are, why am I here? What do I really, really want in life? Where am I going? And if I achieve all my goals, what would it look like? The great tragedy is that most people go through life and die with their music still in them. They react and respond to pressures and events, to parents and bosses, to bills and responsibilities, and never take the time to sit down and think about what it is they really want for themselves. You were put on this earth to do something wonderful with your life. Your job is to find out what that wonderful thing is, and then to throw your whole heart into doing it extremely well. Your life may have a single purpose, like that of Mother Teresa of Calcutta, or your life may have multiple sequential purposes, one after the other, as you evolve into a higher person like Nazik. It's never too early to find out what that wonderful thing is that you are meant to do. Only when you find it, you will be truly happy, completely successful, and totally fulfilled. If you enjoyed this video and feel that it was valuable in teaching you about living life with passion, share it with your friends or anyone else who might benefit from this information. Before we wrap up, I'd like to leave you with a thought to share with your friends and followers. It's never too late or too early to start, but the best time to start is now. Now, I'd love to hear from you, so my question today is this: what do you think your true calling in life is? Leave a comment below and I'll be sure to follow up with you. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you want to change your future, take action, and take action now. If you enjoyed this video and feel it was valuable in teaching you about living life with passion, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share this video with your friends, and click the button on the screen for a free gift. Thanks again for watching.